On some calculators, you will be blessed with this button here. This button that looks a little bit like a fraction. In fact, this is the fraction button. Now, on some calculators, you will be able to type fractions using that button as they should look, as in, your calculator will correctly present the fraction with one number on the top and one number on the bottom. If I, on my calculator, were to press that button, I am set up with a blank fraction. I can now type into that fraction. So I could put a number on the top, like say 3, for example. Now maybe I want to put a number on the bottom of that fraction. I can use these arrows to move to the bottom line. So I could press the down arrow to move to the bottom line. I could press the up arrow to move to the top one as well if I wanted. So I could switch between top and bottom lines of that fraction using the arrows. Now I'm on the bottom line. I could put in another number, for example 8. So I've now displayed the fraction 3 over 8. If I press equals, my calculator returns 3 over 8. Why has it not done anything to that? Because my calculator first of all sees that as the neatest form that it can present this fraction in. 3 over 8 is a fairly neat fraction. The calculator is designed to see fractions as neater than anything else anyway, and this fraction is already in the simplest form. I could of course switch it to something else, switch it to a different presentation using the S to D button and turn it into a decimal, 0.375, and in fact 3/8, 3 divided by 8 would be 0.375. But 3/8 is returned as the simplest form because it is the simplest form. Putting a different fraction in, say one that isn't in the simplest form, something like say 15 over 100, which is not in the simplest form because both top and bottom will at the very least divide by 5. If I press equals, the calculator has simplified the fraction for me, 3 over 20. It has done the divide by 5 top and bottom to simplify it. And again, I could switch to the decimal form if I wanted using the S to D button. This fraction button is particularly useful if you are typing fractions into your calculator. Bear in mind that not all calculators will display fractions like this. All calculators will have a fraction button. It might not look exactly like this. There are a couple of different things it could look like. The fractions button in your calculator will likely look like one of the following 3 things. It will either be this one box over another box setup with the boxes designed to fill in missing numbers, or it will be this kind of backwards L shape, or it could be like an A over a B, where the A and B are placeholders for the numbers top and bottom of a fraction. But whichever of those you have, you will be able to type fractions in. If you do not have a calculator that displays fractions in this way, it is likely that it will display fractions in this way. But the fraction button can be a particularly useful tool if you are typing stuff into your calculator. Other buttons that it's worth pointing out on the calculator include these two here, these two bracket buttons for opening and closing brackets. They will let you type bracketed information into your calculator so that if you were putting, say, a BODMAS question into your calculator, you could make sure that the brackets contained the correct information. I could type in, for example, I could open my brackets using the open brackets button, 2 plus 4 in the brackets, then close them, and then say times the whole thing by 5. So this will do, the 2 plus 4 is 6, and then it will times it by 5 to give me an answer of 30. Because the calculator understands how to use the order of operations, how to use this BODMAS setup, and will do the brackets first. So brackets, a particularly useful button on the calculator. There is also a way to type negative numbers into this calculator. Well, there, for example, is 9, and let's say I was going to add on 4, but then I realised that the question that I'm trying to type into my calculator is not 9 plus 4, but negative 9 plus 4, minus 9 plus 4. Well, I can use the arrow keys to scroll through that I've typed if my calculator has this kind of display bar setup. Not all calculators do, remember, but if yours does, you can use the arrow keys to scroll through that, and I could press this button here to add a minus symbol in front of the 9 so that it is not now 9 plus 4 but minus 9 plus 4, and I can press equals and that will take me to the minus 5 that we are hopefully expecting.